Starting this guidelines answers, and that is our first module, and we are picking that's governance topic, governance, risk management, compliance and ethics. So these four topics are included in this module. So here is question number 1. Beg your pardon. Now here this question number 1, we are reading this, that is PL Private Limited was incorporated under the Companies Act 1956 on 3rd October 2011, and the authorized capital of the company is of 75 crores. Okay, so the present paid up share capital is of 60 crores. Okay, the turnover of the company financial year, that is around 150 crores, and because of good overseas marketability of the company's product, the turnover of the company has increased to 10 crores. Now the secretarial order of the company advised that the company should have internal audit in place, but the managing director argued that since it's a private company, it is not required, though it is required because it is more than 200 crores now. So let's get into this, that whether internal audit is compulsory for the private company. If we have to discuss this, then yes, it is discussed. Yes, it is important because the turnover has increased. Also, the paid up share capital is of 60 crores. The paid up share capital criteria is not required in case of a private company. So in the above case, if the company had been an unlisted public company, the turnover for the year ended would be itna crore, but we have been your answer, then it is not. What they are saying, that if the company had been an unlisted public company, okay, then not required. Then a company, unlisted public company for every. Okay, now can a company secretary be appointed as an internal auditor in unlisted public company, whether he is already appointed as a KMP? Yes, it can. So let's go into the answers. Here is the answer of this question, that is as per section 138. Okay, so 138 of the Companies Act 2030, read with rule 13, 1 sub rule 3, sub rule C of the company's rules. Every private company having turnover of 200 crores and loans and outstanding borrowing of 100 crores, there it is 100 crores, meet at any point during the preceding financial year shall be required to appoint an internal auditor. As the turnover of P Limited is more than 200 crore, and then he has to appoint an internal auditor. Now they are asking us to elaborate this section in a great detail. So here it is, that as per section 138 of the Companies Act, read with rule 13, the Companies Rule 2014, every unlisted public company having paid up share capital of 50 crore rupees or more during the preceding financial year, also the turnover of 200 crores or more in the preceding year, and outstanding loan at any time it is of 100 crores and deposit is of 25 crores. So what we have learned here earlier, that is 25, 50, 100, 200. This was a sequence, 25, 50, 100 and 200. And as mentioned in the paid up share capital, 50 crores has also. So here in this case also they need to appoint an internal auditor, because the paid up share capital is increasing, 60 crores that was in this question. So, and they are asking a question number 3. So here also it is related to the internal auditor. The Companies Act stated that an internal auditor shall either be a chartered accountant or cost accountant or such other professional as may be decided by the board. It is not necessary that he or she has to be into some good position or good qualification possess. Now further explanation to the rule 13 of the companies, that internal auditor may or may not be employee of the company. So in the above case, company secretary who is appointed as a KMP can be appointed as an internal auditor of this company. Now we have another question, that in section 139 subsection 2 of the Companies Act, the rule 5P of the Companies Audit and Auditors Rule, all private limited company having paid up share capital of 50 crores or more shall not appoint or reappoint sorry, I'm just time pass कर रही थी. Or private company having paid up share capital of 50 crores or more shall not appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor for more than 5 consecutive years, and an audit firm for an auditor for more than 2 terms of the 5 consecutive years. So an individual auditor who has completed his term of 5 consecutive years shall not be eligible for reappointment as auditor of the same company for the 5 year from that completion of his term. Okay, so an auditor, individual auditor who has completed his 5 consecutive years term shall not be eligible for reappointment as auditor in the same company for further 5 years from the completion of his term. Now, in the view of above case, paid up share capital of this company is more than 50 crores. So X cannot be as a statutory auditor for the second term. We know in this case, no? They're talking about the audit. Okay. अच्छा, इन्होंने ये केस डिस्कस किया था. Sorry, I have repeated this answer. So question was that M is a private limited company registered in the year 2000 as a private limited company and continuing the same status. It is having a paid up share capital of 65 crore rupees as on this. Now the present company auditor is X and chartered accountant, also a proprietorship firm he has. Also, he is appointed as an auditor of the company in the year. Now the term of the said auditor is going to expire and the company wants to reappoint the same. Since he is having well acquaintance with the company's officials and it's working. Now X cannot be reappointed because he is the same person. Now in the above case, instead of individual per person, an auditor, the company would be appointed as a firm of the chartered accountant, and the said firm is expiring, so we know that it can reappoint again. Now in the given case, if the paid up share capital is of 5 crores and having cash limit and loan facility from the bank to the tune of 55 crores, then what is the answer of this question? So first answer that we know that they can reappoint. Okay, I'm reading this again. That as per section 139(2) of the Companies Act, read with rule 5 of the Companies Audit and Auditor Rules 2014. Pardon. Now all private limited company having a paid up share capital of 50 crores or more shall not appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor for the more than 5 consecutive years. But similar answer they have written for the same thing. And audit firm for the 5 consecutive years. So audit firm has completed and shall not be reappointed as an auditor with the same company for the 5 years for the completion. So an audit firm which has completed its term shall not be reappointed in the same company for the 5 years from the completion of such term. Now provided further that as on the date of appointment, no audit firm having a common partner or partner to the audit firm whose tenure has expired in the company immediately preceding the financial year shall be appointed as auditor of the same company for a period of 5 years. So here it is the important para in this question. What is the important para in this question? Making it again. That provided further that as on date of appointment हो रहा है ऑडिट फर्म का, तो कॉमन पार्टनर नहीं होना चाहिए जिसने पहले ऑडिट फर्म में काम किया है और उस कंपनी से रिलेटेड है, वो उस कंपनी का पहले काम किया है, तो वो फिर ऑडिटर नहीं हो पाएगा. बट हेयर इज़ अ लैक्यूना इन दिस लॉ दैट मान लो that audit firm is appointing again in the company. So during that time that auditor was not the partner of that audit firm, but later on when such firm has been appointed as an auditor, then within the tenure that person has been appointed again as a partner of such audit firm. दोबारा फिर चाहे तो वो उस person का काम देख सकता है. So it's a lacuna in the law, though they have tried this level best. Now in the view of the above, the firm of the chartered accountant will not be eligible for reappointment for 5 years on completion of the term. Okay, so now the section 139 of the Companies Act with Rule 5 अगर हम उसे पढ़ते हैं, so what we'll get to know that no listed company or the following classes of the company excluding one person companies and small companies. So all listed company which is public company having paid up share capital of 10 crore rupees or more, means they were asking about the, so all public company, unlisted public company which have a paid up share capital of 10 crore rupees or more, and all private limited company which having the paid up share capital of 50 crores or more. So all companies having paid up share capital of below this threshold limit mentioned in A and B above, but having public borrowings from financial institutions, banks or public deposits of rupees 50 crores or more shall not appoint or reappoint an individual as an audit firm for 5 consecutive years. Means the paid up share capital and also the paid up share capital below threshold limit mentioned, okay, but having public borrowings from financial institutions. So what they wants to say here that all companies having paid up share capital of below threshold limit mentioned, means unlisted companies of 10 crore and private companies of 50 crores. So all such companies and but having public borrowings from financial institutions, banks, public deposit is of 50 crores or more shall not appoint and also not reappoint an individual auditor for a 5 consecutive year and audit firm as an auditor for 2 consecutive years. Now since the present case the company is having paid up share capital of 5 crores, that is within the threshold limit of 50 crores, but the company having borrowing facility from a bank of 55 crore, that is exceeding the threshold limit of 50 crores. So hence the cannot company appoint Mr. X as an auditor in such company. And now we'll move to the another question, that is question number first ka C part, and here it is C part, that is RST Limited recently issued equity shares on the basis of right issue. They made it a right issue. We know that right issue was all about giving right to the existing person, existing shareholders. Now due to the paid up share capital of the company has been increased from 7.5 crores to 15 crores, and the company secretary in the board meeting put up the proposal for constitution of various committee. ठीक है कि भाई बहुत सारी कमिटीज़ बननी है, इंक्लूडिंग ऑडिट कमेटी ऑल्सो, नॉमिनेशन एंड रेम्यूनरेशन कमेटी ऑल्सो, and all members of the committee were proposed to be independent director. And the scope of nomination and remuneration committee, it was entirely added that the committee shall also evaluate the performance of the chairman and MD. So the director present in the board meeting strictly objected the said proposal, and chairman and managing director has also expressed dissent on the such proposal. So we need to validate that his company secretary is advising correctly to the company. So here is the answer. and it is a good question. Basically, it is related to the practical knowledge, and we need to have such knowledge that as per the rule 6 of the company's meetings and board and its power, that is rule 2014, if we read with rule 4 of the company's appointment and disqualification of rule 2014, that every listed company or public company which is having paid up share capital of 10 crores or more, turnover is of 100 crores or more, and outstanding loan is of 50 crores. So 10, 50, 100 chalta hai in this case. That is of a paid up share capital, that is of a outstanding loans, debentures, deposit, and that is of turnover. So they need to constitute an audit committee and also NRC committee. So okay, as per the further section, this section 178 of the nomination, this section is for nomination and remuneration committee shall have at least 3 members, out of which one half shall be independent director, which is not less than one half shall be independent director. And if we talk about 178, stipulate that NCR shall identify persons who are qualified to become directors and who may be appointed as senior management in accordance with the criteria laid down. Now recommend to the board their appointment and removal, shall specify the manner for effective evaluation of performance of the board. Now its committee and individual directors to be carried out either by the board and by the nomination and remuneration committee or by independent external agency, and review its implementation and compliances. So the performance of chairperson is linked to both the functioning of the board as well as a whole, as well as the performance of each director. Now the nomination and remuneration committee provides that independent director should review the performance of the chairperson of the company, taking into account the view of the executive director and non-executive directors. In view of this proposal, the company secretary is valid as per the law. Okay, बल्कि इसमें इन्होंने एक चीज़ ऐड नहीं की है, इन्होंने दे जस्ट टॉक अबाउट द नॉमिनेशन एंड रेमुनेरेशन कमिटी. They could also mention that here audit committee is also required to be placed, and the requirement is of now under the energy department, government of Tamil Nadu, 3 companies as government companies were incorporated. A is for generation of electricity, B is for transmission, and C is for distribution. So it is for generation, transmission, and distribution. So further 3 subsidiaries, namely XYZ Limited, were incorporated as a wholly owned subsidiary companies of C Limited. C Limited purchases the power electricity from A Limited and sell all the powers of the subsidiary company. Now the subsidiary company through B Limited distribute the power in the state. Now apart from that, C Limited also purchases cables from the manufacturer and sell it to the subsidiary company with margin of 5% of the sale price. Now the power supply, C Limited has also charged 0.5 paisa per unit as a service charge from subsidiary company. Now during the auditor raised a question that there is a lot of related party transactions and directors and members are the same in the companies. Now further, chairman is also common. Neither the board nor the members of the company approve the transaction which comes under the definition of RPT. Now the company secretary replied that the transactions pre-approved by energy department. Now auditor is dissatisfied with this reply, so we need to check out the validity of the transactions between related party. So here is the answer, that according to the section of 276 of the Companies Act, related party basically with the reference to the company include any body corporate which is a holding, a subsidiary or an associate company of such means body corporate. What a body corporate means: body corporate is basically a holding company, can be a subsidiary company or can be a associate company. of such company or a subsidiary of a holding company to which it is not subsidiary, or an investing company or a venture company of the company. Means it is really important that who is the body corporate. I'm taking it time and I'm again reading this, that the holding, subsidiary and associate company of such company can be termed as body. Related party, basically they're talking about, includes any body corporate. So related party could be a holding subsidiary or an associate company, subsidiary or a holding company, and also the investing company or the venture of this company. Now the transaction referred in the questions are covered under section 188 of the Companies Act, which deals with the RPT. Now all the related party transactions require the approval of the audit committee as per section 177. We know that is related to statutory audit or audit committee. Now except to the transaction other than the transactions referred in section 188 of the Companies Act between the holding company and a wholly owned subsidiary, it stated that fourth proviso of this, up to certain limit the approval of board is required, and above the limit now the approval of the member must be taken. Now as per the proviso of two section, that is section 188 of the Companies, and members of the company shall not vote where he is related party. However, as per this proviso 3 of the section, that is 188, if 90% or more members are related party, can vote as per the proviso of 4th schedule 4 section 188. Now the approval of the board is not required where the transactions are of the arm length basis in ordinary course of business. So the board approval is not required. Board approval is not required when the transactions are of an arm length basis in ordinary course of business. Now further, as per the proviso of 5th section 188 of the Companies Act, the approval of the member is not required in case of transaction between the holding company and wholly owned subsidiary company. Now further, as per the exemption notification that is comes under in 5th June issued by the Ministry of MCA, that is the first and second proviso. They are totally mentioning the all such things, but if we remember then it's good, but no, as a human being we can't remember also subsection or proviso and everything. Now a government company where a contract agreement arrangement to be entered into by it with any other government company, a government company other than a listed company in respect of contract arrangement other than those mentioned in above, if it has obtained approval in the administrative ministry of the concerned central and state government. Now in case of a C Limited, being a government company, has entered into the following transactions. Now purchase of powers from A Limited, that is a government company, and sale of powers of subsidiary company, that is all government companies as they are subsidiary in the government company. Now X Limited, Y Limited and Z Limited, wholly owned subsidiary being government companies, distributed power through B Limited, that is government company. Now purchase of cables from the manufacturer and sale to its subsidiary company, government companies levy of tax service charges as 0.5 paisa per unit on its subsidiary company, government companies. Now therefore in the present case, assuming that the transactions are at arm length price in the ordinary course of business, so no approval is required neither from the board and not from the member of the company is required, and the related party transactions would be valid in such case. So next question will go and talk in another video. Thank you.